Hello, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys. We welcome you to the Ugandan podcast. My name is Brandy Azirwe Valentine. It has been a minute since we have been here, but we're here now. And today we come with great news that, behold, make our country better and more sustainable and so much more. But before we get into that, Uganda is now listed as Africa's innovation powerhouse. We'd have a conversation about that right now. But in studio, we're having Professor William Bazeyo, the chairperson of the BPO and Innovation Council. If you've been watching our episodes, then you know what we're talking about. And then we also have Mr. Richard Okuti, who is a member as well of the council. And we are going to talk about how is the business process outsourcing landscape of our country looking like? What does the innovation landscape look like? How do we do better? And what have we done so far? And now I welcome our guests. You're welcome, Mr. Richard Okuti, and the one and only Professor William Bazeyo.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yes. So in a word or two, could you please introduce yourself in your safety words and strong ones?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm William Bazeyo. I'm a professor of occupational medicine, retired,
Yes.
now a practicing farmer.
You take so much pride in the retirement.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
And the most important is that I am committed to getting our youth from the street where they are, where we have produced and put them. Secondly, I am proud that I have been in service in academia for approximately 30 years. And therefore, I know what it means to train somebody. And when you train that somebody, what does he become? So that's what I am.
Yes. We are very happy to have you here and to be part of this conversation.
Thank you.
Yes. I throw the wheel to you, Mr. Richard Okuti.
Yes, thank you. I am Richard Okuti, not yet retired. I am very excited to be here with Professor. I draw a lot of inspiration from him.
Yeah.
I am into trade promotion, and more lately, I have worked mostly in export development, which is a very unique sector. And in export development, we are building capacity of our youth and Ugandans to participate in international trade by building skills, linking them to foreign markets around the world, and making sure that there's an environment for them to trade with different countries, and therefore putting Uganda on the international map. So I'm happy to be here, and I look forward to an interesting conversation.
All right. Thank you. Basically, out of all your input, the both of you are putting Uganda on the map with value. Yeah?
Yes.
And I'm glad that you're both part of the BPO and Innovation Council. But to you, Professor Bazeyo, what does the BPO and Innovation Council do as the chair?
Thank you very much, Brandy. You said you are Valentine.
A Valentine.
Yeah, it passed some days, some months ago.
Yeah.
So I think many of us in Uganda do not know what BPO is. And many people, when you tell them BPO, they say, what is that? And I believe even the youth do not know. So what BPO and Innovations Council is the Business Process Outsourcing and Innovations Council that is here to help streamline employment through business processing. This has been known for many years, for many countries like India, Egypt, Mauritius, and others. But it looks like it's new here. It's not. It has been here, although on a very, very small scale.
Yes.
And not well organized and not well streamlined, that it has not benefited Ugandans. Worldwide, we know that COVID came.
True.
When it came, many people lost jobs. But very many more got jobs. Those who were prepared and skilled to work away from office. So what the BPO Innovations Council is, and our main aim is, how do we make Uganda a source of employment, a source of human resource for the whole world?
Yes.
That is the powerhouse. Because we have what it takes. Now, because we have what it takes, does not mean that we actually have the people there to provide these services to the world. So the BPO Innovations Council has come in or was appointed by the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance to streamline this industry of creating jobs, giving sustainable jobs to people, jobs that are stable, that they bring income not only to the individuals, to the employers, and the youth and the people that are here. When we talk about the youth, other people say, so how about us who are no longer the youth? We shall also get them jobs because they don't have jobs. Not because they don't, not the jobs are not there. The jobs are there.
Yeah.
So the BPO Innovations Council is to streamline this.
Yes.
And I'll ask Richard if he would add on something as part of his terms of reference.
Yes. Like, what are the nature of
Yes.
these jobs?
Yes. And no, I just wanted to expound on BPO
Yeah.
because, as Professor said, there's a tendency to limit it to ICT,
Yes.
which is wrong. Business process outsourcing is actually outsourcing other processes that are maybe not core to you as an entity. And when you do that, you can actually do IT outsourcing. You can do knowledge process outsourcing.
KPO.
Yes, you can do semi-skilled jobs outsourcing.
Yes.
You can do even very basic jobs outsourcing.
Yeah.
You can do outsourcing within the country, for instance, from government to private sector,
Yes.
which we normally call inshore sourcing. We can do outsourcing, nearshore sourcing within the region. We can do it overseas, which is offshore outsourcing. And in all this, we can do human resource outsourcing, we can do security, we can do IT-enabled services, we can do professional services. So looking at our drive to try and create as many jobs as we can for the youthful people and others, men and women, this is a very big issue.
Yeah.
And if we handle it very strategically, then we will have enough jobs for everyone.
Okay.
So I just wanted to expound on that so that we look at this from the big picture, that it's bigger than, technology alone.
Yeah, it's bigger than the
Yeah.
IT.
Just to add,
comprises of everyone else.
when you talk about BPO, many people think about call centers.
Yes.
We are not for call centers alone. Call centers is just a small fraction of BPO.
Yes.
As Richard has said, many people think that BPO is only in IT, but the BPO Council is trying to bring this outsourcing to all the sectors. All the sectors are going to be involved.
Yes.
Engineers, agriculture, mining,
Journalists,
of course,
accountants.
Everybody.
Yes.
I mean, why should banks not employ people? Those banks that are in UK employ Ugandans. They should employ Ugandans if we do the right thing.
Okay. Leading us to that, we understand that the jobs are going to be created. In fact, we have trust that now that the cancer is here, these jobs are going to be created. But how can the population be ready for these jobs? What?
I'll tell you one thing. Thank you, Brandy.
Yeah.
We say that we are going to create jobs.
Yes.
Actually, the jobs are already there. What we don't have are the people readiness to do the jobs.
Yeah.
We have people that have trained, got their degrees, diplomas, certificates, and even other type of training.
Yeah.
But why are they not doing those jobs? Because they have not been skilled appropriately to these jobs.
Yes.
So what we are trying to do as BPO Council is to streamline the skilling, create skilling centers.
Yeah.
For example, if somebody studies in Muni University in Arua, he doesn't have to come to Kampala to look for a job. We skill people where they are. So if we can do regional skilling, we do skilling from the academic institutions, because now what has been happening, you go to university, you get a degree, but along the way you want to do internship. You start looking, you go around with a paper looking for internship. We want to remove that. Bring the people to skill you when you are training, so that by the time you graduate, you actually have skills to do the job.
Yeah.
So these jobs, we are now going to put people in position ready enough to take up these jobs. And the only way they will take up these jobs, we will create this partnership of the employers, the private sector, and the international community to know that we have these people skilled.
Yes.
So we need to work with partners from outside and even from here to skill people who have some kind of training.
Okay.
And then they fit into these jobs. So the jobs are there. So what we are doing is, when we say create, we are actually making people ready for those jobs, so that we are creating those jobs, matching them to the skills that are required.
So the demand and the supply are supposed to be equivalent for effectiveness.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah. We actually plan to make it, match them properly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's those loose gaps. Those are the gaps that we intend to fill. And if you see, by nature of the council as well, it has people like me from private sector.
Yeah.
It has people from government.
Yes.
It has people from academia.
Yes.
So it's a triple helix kind of thing: academia, government, and private sector. Because we believe that knowledge is not only in one place.
True.
We can bring our different knowledge and experiences together, and also bring our rich network of partners on board, so that we can achieve this once and for all.
Yeah.
Because, we've talked.
Yes.
We've talked, and we need to get it done.
Yes.
And I think that's what we're aiming at.
And I believe with that network, we can create a great ecosystem.
Yeah, but to create that ecosystem, there is the area that is there, which is called the environment. Is the environment ready, appropriate for these jobs? Not quite. We may skill the people. We may skill the youth. We may convince and work with the partners, the stakeholders, but we want that environment to be stable. And who makes it stable? The government. We need, although there is political will, but it's not sufficient without having the regulations in place, the policies. We have so many laws and policies in this country. All of them talk about this, IT and so on. But we need specific developed policies. One, to protect the employer, protect the employees, and protect the jobs. Because if you create and you skill people and they're employed, who knows how much they get? How does government benefit from this? So we want everybody to benefit. The employees, the employers, and
the...
So how does the employer who is in, say, California get value for money? How does the government get value for money? Because this skilling is going to be done in large scale.
Yes.
Government is going to open up for people to come and skill people. Yeah. So how do we protect the government? So as BPO Council, since we started, we found these were lacking. So we are now working on the environment, developing the policies, and soon they'll be discussed by the policymakers. So that when they are put in place, then you are sure that the people you are creating jobs for have all this protection. And then, of course, we need taxes.
True.
The employers can exploit the country if they employ so many people and don't pay any tax. So everybody needs to benefit from all this.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm glad that we are moving in that direction as a country, as a government, as a group of people. And which brings me to the direction where the ministry, recently, I think the three of us were in Dubai somehow, somewhere, and the ministry was able to spearhead the Innovation Week at the Dubai Expo. And this, based on the fact that this is the BPO and Innovation Council, you are somewhat very paramount in the preparations. And I'd like you to walk us through how we got here to becoming Africa's innovation powerhouse.
Richard.
Yes, thank you. And the journey is still on.
The journey is still
on.
Yes,
we are just taking the baby steps.
Okay.
And indeed, the Dubai Expo was one of the very, very interesting kind of events to participate in. Remember that this expo brought people from all corners of the world.
True.
Highly developed, highly technological countries, mediumly developed countries, and the less developed countries were all brought together in one place. It was a sea of activity, knowledge, skills, technology, and everything. And so coming to such events with properly designed objectives really benefits a country like Uganda. And our objectives were, one, to first of all bring Uganda into the view of the international community. Yeah. To show the world that Uganda actually exists. You know, when you're in Uganda and you're not traveled, you can imagine Uganda is everything. There are people who do not know this country. They do not know where it is. So objective number one was to bring out Uganda into the limelight. And what does it have? We have innovative youth. We have a lot of agricultural produce. We have a lot of attractions, and so forth and so forth. And we are very skilled. We have very many trained youth from universities.
Yes.
We have
English speaking.
very good English command. We are strategically located in the heart of Africa, and so forth. So showcasing was objective number one, which I think we met very well.
Yes.
Number two, we went to meet potential partners and buyers. Because already this is an expensive venture. So we already wanted to start looking for potential partners, people with whom we can invest, share knowledge, and transfer skills to this country. And we met very big organizations like Abacus, like MasterCard, and many others, Noon. And interestingly, we even met the Ugandan business community in Dubai, which is the community in the entire Emirates, which we can leverage on to actually sell higher quality jobs into that market. So you remember we are selling low-level jobs at the moment. So we want to rise also and sell higher quality jobs into that market, which is possible. We just have to set the standards. So linkages happened, and that was very good. And lastly, also, of course, to learn from others, to see what others are doing, so that we can actually bring, down here. And, this ease of movement around the world is very good for us because you just go and learn. You look, you see, and say, wow, we can do this back home. This is, and these people, if these people can do it with ease, from sand to all these, amazing things.
Yes.
And then you can do it back here. So learning, meeting and connecting for potential buyers, potential partners, as well as showing off what Uganda has. Because marketing in a global space is not a very light issue.
Yeah.
And everyone is competing. Everyone has something to offer. So these were the key reasons we went there. And I want to say we achieved quite a bit. Next time, if we can start preparing very, very early.
For Japan, no?
Yes. Maybe even 9 months in advance, 1 year in advance.
Yeah.
We can achieve multiple times than we have achieved this time. So I encourage this, and this really forms part of what we want to achieve as a council.
That's true. Yeah. And I'm just glad that we went through the process from the beginning, from just calling out different partners that would work with us just to end the silos. And we're able to end up with Huawei and MTN and Airtel and NBS and UBC and Centertech, Centenary Technologies. And then also we were able to just put out a call so that innovators can apply. And when they applied, I remember they came to the BPO and Innovation Council for vetting. Professor, how was that?
So to me, I think the vetting process was very interesting.
Yes.
Because we listened to the different innovators.
Yeah.
And as much as my dream was to take many, of course, you are in Dubai.
Yes.
If we had taken many, a lot more would have been achieved.
Yeah.
But of course, our sponsors were not just too many. I think maybe we were short. But I have a dream that this expo we saw in Dubai,
Yeah.
can Uganda do an expo here?
And invite countries
And
from
we invite
all over the
countries,
world.
they come here and see the showcase of Ugandans
Yeah.
here.
I think that we can.
We can, because we have innovators. Why do I say that I have that dream? Because we have so many innovators. There are so many innovations that are on the shelf that are waiting to be commercialized. How do we sell them out?
Yeah.
My recommendation is that we now, as BPO, as we settle in, bring these innovators together so that we know what do we have, say, in Lira, what do we have in Mbarara, so that we bring them together. As we try to sell ourselves to create these jobs, we are actually selling the innovations from this country.
Facts.
And lastly, we will also now give an opportunity to those who have those other ideas of saying this is not innovation. They're just there. There are those who are skeptical. They will know that actually Uganda is a powerhouse.
Yes.
And very, very last, if you look at our neighbors, I think you went to the stores.
I went to Belarus, Morocco, Saudi Arabia.
To drum that many stores did not match Uganda stores. Those from Africa. And some from other countries, of course, you saw. And I will not say what they were showing, but at least we had what to show and what to sell, and what to connect. The others, you go there, maybe they give you coffee, then you look around, that's a store. But that was not Uganda. We had what to show. So next time we call for people to apply. And on this note, I want to say we are putting out a call for innovators to come for training, for skilling them. We are working with partners from South Africa. The call is coming out maybe early next week. Innovators should come, should apply. It is fully funded so that we skill these people.
True. And we were able to profile, because I remember that the innovations we picked Envigo Technologies, Sente Up. What was the other one?
The shea butter.
Kaplanta, then Ewell Technologies, Prisms. You should go look, and Bazeyo Technologies. You should go look them all up, one after the other. And however much we took just 5, we were able to profile 15.
Yes.
Because we're in a digital era. We're the Ministry of ICT. If we cannot digitally do these things, who will? Yeah. But I'm glad we are here. My next question is, how do we leverage on our value proposition? Because we have all said all these good things about our country, the climate, the population, the ability for us to match up on the pricing and everything. How do we leverage on this to move forward better?
I thank you once again. And you know, and I've said this, at this time, the ministry is doing the right thing.
Yeah, thank you very much.
This one I must say, and the people should know that actually where the ministry is going now is the right direction. Because it is the only ministry that is positioned to coordinate all the other ministries and make sure that whatever they produce, whatever they do, can actually be marketed for the benefit of this country. So to that one, I give credit. The second thing is that when you say, how do we leverage? Yes, if the ministry is investing in bandwidth, is investing in lowering the internet, if you do bandwidth and we do not have users, so we must work with the different stakeholders, especially the private sector. The role of the private sector must be central. We have the private sector that is employing non-Ugandans when Ugandans are here. Secondly, that we need to do is to have protective laws that if you are an investor here, how many people do you employ that belong to Uganda? What else do you contribute? As you are planning your investment, like these people in oil, are they training our people? Are they giving them the skills? Can we use them to train them? And lastly, the academia. The academia must be brought on board to stop training people to graduate with degrees and diplomas, but to start skilling people as and when they are training them, so that as they get out, they're actually skilled.
Yes.
Those who are already out, let us skill them.
Yes.
But those who are still there, let us challenge the academia to reshape and restructure their training and have time for skilling people. Bring the private sector into the universities to work with them.
Okay. Yes.
Maybe okay.
One second, Richard. I have a very hot question for you.
I wanted to add the.
You want to add
please,
on, Professor?
Yes.
Okay. Anyhow, my question is:
yes.
When do we fully become Africa's innovation powerhouse?
Okay, it ties in anyway.
Hey, I saw you coming, and I met you halfway.
My comment, especially, is, and this is especially to private sector. We need to, as Ugandans, have more faith in ourselves. And stop isolating ourselves into silos.
Yes.
I see entrepreneurs wanting to work, but they're working alone in silos. Let's get more organized. Let's have our private sector associations. Let's empower them so that we can easily communicate with government and work together as one unit, one single force. In that way, we'll achieve faster and quickly. And towards an innovation powerhouse for Africa, we have to build a lot of capacity internally, meaning, again, collaboration between the different SMEs and bigger companies and startups working together with government and academia, informing, especially because there's a lot of knowledge in private sector as well.
True.
Informing where do we need more skills? Can we quickly work on a curriculum or something? To skill in that area? Where do we need more linkages? Can we push the linkages quickly? Where do we need a lot of partners to invest and bring in knowledge and so forth? And these are some of the things we've started. And like Professor has said, it requires a lot of investment. It requires resources, not money resources alone, but mental resources, human resource, knowledge and so forth.
And physical resources.
And I think we'll definitely become the powerhouse. Why? We're already number one entrepreneurial country in the world.
Well done.
We're already number one in English.
Well done.
We're already churning out. Why do neighbors come to Uganda for education? They believe in our education system.
True.
Although we want to improve it even further.
We are even improving it as we speak.
Exactly. And then we're in the heart of Africa. Congo has joined from this side. Kenya is this side. And we can do a lot of work for our region and for the rest of Africa. And Africa will be proud of us as a pearl of Africa.
Oh, thank you.
Just before you close, the powerhouse. You said when shall we become? We have a very simple thing to do, which Richard has said. We bring all these people together. It's just like when you are going to make a meal. You bring all the ingredients.
Tomatoes, onions, the beef and everything.
BPO Council is bringing all the ingredients. And we will be remaining with one thing. Once we have the regulatory process cleared and done by the government, we can comfortably say that the ingredients can now be declared the powerhouse.
Okay.
It will be done.
Yes. On a closing note, I want to keep you there. What advice do you give the young innovators out there? The ones who are probably working in their parents' garage and they're hoping to move somewhere. The ones out in the innovation hubs trying to upskill their innovations. What do you give them?
My advice is simple. Is that it is ripe time that they are going to harvest what they have invested in.
Yes.
Innovations will be the guiding principle. They will be the steering for this country.
Yes.
And I can see it. I have seen it. It has changed lives in many countries. It will change lives in Uganda.
All right. Thank you. I feel like that's a very great piece of advice.
Yes.
Okuti, do you want to sign us out with one more piece of advice to the young innovators?
Young innovators.
Yeah.
I think professors profiled it very well.
Yeah.
Have faith, young innovators.
Yes.
Be encouraged and don't get drawn away by a lot of distractions. We use a lot of technology for non-issues.
Yeah.
Let's converge our energies to the right, use of technology. And technology will help us move a lot of other things.
Yeah.
So I encourage the youth, be open to learning, make mistakes because mistakes will always be made. I've also made many along the way.
I could count the
just
ones I
make
have
the
made
mistakes
just a few.
and you'll grow.
Yeah.
So encouraging.
Thank you very much. I cannot even add on this advice. It's just epitome is just ripe. But my biggest take from this episode is we are all better together, isn't it?
Correct. Yeah,
Yes.
correct.
So please,
We are better together with
with
the innovators and the youth.
and the youth, yes, and the government and the private sector, we're one big family
Yes.
and moving forward.
Correct.
Yeah, so please reach out to these amazing gentlemen on their socials at William Bazeyo for Professor William Bazeyo, then at Okuti, isn't it? At Okuti for Richard Okuti, and the one and only at Valentine Brandy for Brandy Azire Valentine. We shall see you as we move forward. This has been the Ugandan podcast. Feel free to comment, like, and share, and we shall see you when we return. Bye. For God and my country.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Old Granny sat us down to sing to us. She sang in the most prophetic verse, a beauty that chased away the time curse. Gently she began, singing of times of peace, tranquil breezes, soft sea caresses on shores, whispering sweet nothings to the skies above her. Of the times when there was laughter that was full of life and full of love, of all the splendid auras and beautiful colors. And then she went silent. She was lost. Then delicately she sang again, her voice not visible for the color with which she sang first painted wondrous pictures, but now painted gray and metallic, violence in silence, pitch dark in rain. Vivid ellipses she sings in melodies mystic of a white cloud that creeps in from the belly of the sea, swooping in quickly, taking of this earth's virginity. They dig and sip and dig and dig and sip and dig and sip until nature's life is left pathetic. Her voice now lulled and her eyes now blank, her skin cold and tight but palms open, showing scars, showing forced toiling on her own land to feed the alien that alienates her on her own heritage. She sings on. She sings on of a generation stuck in a black pit, ruthless, useless, rootless, useless, just demonstrating instead of creating a way, any way to stop the bickering and start working on reality, work on your humanity, work on your identity, she says. What you are is a facade sold to the trends and synthetics, sipped from the media where televisions are the elders and the spiritualists are now traders. Who you are is not your brother, your neighbor, or your creator. Who you are is not what you own. Who you are is your heartbeat, pulsating and dancing in tune with nature's life beat. Then the whispers went on. The winds whisper, the leaves' huts chatter, and then faster and faster she picks the pitch higher and higher. Faster she sings, we sink deeper into her vocal vortex. Her voice shivers and her voice quivers. Her voice shivers and her voice quivers. Mental abruption, many colors and eruptions of emotions long forgotten. Her eyes still close, open our hearts from grips of self-centered notions, of unproven theories and theorems. She sucked us into another realm, chained to her voice domination. Her ventriloquistic prowess, we transcend to a world of darkened seas and moving shadows, darkened seas and moving shadows, darkened seas and moving shadows, where who we are is but an illusion, where we sell our souls to the trends and forget to remain humane. Before we know it, we lose all sight of what it means to be human. She feeds us more and more of her vocal angelic potion, an antidote to the fang-injected poison that spreads through the visual and the audio medium. I speak of the media. Sellouts wanting to sell out mediocrity to the society, of the power of the gun and ignoring the power of the pen. We are all fallen men. And finally, by the end, we had seen a glimpse of our eternity revealed, where all of the pits of our past demons had been sealed, where the eyelids of our hearts were now finally unpeeled. This is when I chose to be healed.